Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with Jermaine Franklin calling out Dillian Whyte. So Franklin, the unbeaten American fringe contender, 20-0 at the moment, taking a page out of Charles Martin's book. Martin in recent months has been goading Whyte online, and Jermaine Franklin here doing the same. So Franklin, Martin and Chris Arreola have all been named thrown out by Eddie Hearn, Whyte's promoter, as potential next options for his next fight, which is allegedly meant to happen, or potentially going to be scheduled for the end of October, I should say. So here is the post from Franklin. This is what happened when you hear my name. Fear overtake you. Look at him in the picture. He is turning white when he hear my name. He is scared to death. I'm the best. It's time to show the world. 20-0 with 13 KOs. And adding a whole bunch of people here. And actually, the same post was done to Twitter, and he included me in this one. So that doesn't happen too often, especially when I've had some of his family members coming to the channel saying I'm a hater because I'm not convinced yet by Franklin. He is somewhat unproven. He hasn't looked sterling in his most recent fights against Pavel Sauer, Jerry Forrest, Rydell Booker. He's performed okay, but he hasn't made that impact, had that performance that you go, wow, this guy is going to be a champion. Not to say that he doesn't have the potential to get there, but at this point, still a ways to go. And he was actually meant to have a fight earlier this year against Stephen Shaw. That would have been in April. That would have been a good opportunity for both of those guys to have a breakout performance and announce themselves to the heavyweight division. But Franklin, right from, I would say, May, June, somewhere around then, after Whyte's last fight, has persistently been a name that Eddie Hearn has thrown out there as one of his next options. So I guess you could look at the call out here as one of two things. That this is almost like the pre-build-up, that maybe that fight is going to be locked in, and Franklin is now starting to sort of ramp things up online, get a bit of buzz going, a bit of a rivalry, because let's face it, there really isn't too much beef between these guys, but something like this starts to kick it off. We've seen Charles Martin going back and forth with Whyte, really thrashing it out, so maybe this is the start of something like that, or potentially is that fight, which is meant to take place, or Whyte's next fight in the UK at the end of October, maybe that sort of this fight slipping away for Franklin, it's gone quiet, and maybe this is the response to try to build something, some interest, try to get things going again. Hard to know which way this sort of is leaning, but his name has been connected with Whyte's for a number of months now, since Whyte said he wanted to take a slightly lower sort of level of fight from where he had been fighting. And Franklin, Charles Martin and Chris Arreola are the three names persistently linked to Whyte's next fight. And bearing in mind, Martin and Arreola are PPC fighters, so what's the likelihood they'd be loaned out to the UK to fight on DAZN? Maybe slim. Maybe Franklin is in the driver's seat here, potentially. But Dillian Whyte no doubt will respond in due course. And someone who is making a move to the UK is Demsey McKean. The Australian world-rated heavyweight has rankings in the IBF and also WBO. So he's going to train and live in the UK for at least 6 months. I believe he's training under Tony Sims. A post here saying he's departing to the UK. Him and his partner taking the next step in his career. He thanks a whole bunch of people connected with him. I could not accomplish this without every one of my amazing and loyal sponsors supporting him while he's overseas chasing the stream of him. So thank you. And I did read in another post that he's going to have a fight before the end of the year, and it is going to be in the United Kingdom. So that is promising. So for Demsey McKean, it's one of these sort of steps, I guess, that he's probably maxed out in Australia for now. He needs to take his, wares overseas and potentially under someone like Sims, develop a little bit further, get a bit more experience, different training methods, techniques, etc. On the road experience, because let's face it, probably not going to have a title fight in Australia. If he was to get that far, he's likely going to be in the away corner as he progresses his career. So this is a step for him into the unknown, but also got to be exciting as well too for him in his career, currently 19-0. Actually, another Australian boxer recently did the same thing. Joe Goodall left Australia and is now living and training full-time in Las Vegas, training under the tutelage of Kevin Barry. So a couple of Australian boxers making this move. Also, another Australian boxer sort of seemingly in the news, Lucas Browne. So here discussing what he sort of describes as some growing momentum to a potential fight with Alen Babic. So I will get into my thoughts on that after this clip. Here we go.
So it's gained a little bit of momentum overnight, which is great. Unfortunately, the one thing I don't do is get excited about anything because there's always talks about something or other. And unless I'm on the plane to go there, I don't get excited. Sometimes I even get on the plane and get there and this fight's still off. But a fight with Alen Babic in the UK in front of UK fans would be sensational for me towards the end of my career now. So get on to Eddie Hearn, get on to Matchroom, get on to Dillian Whyte as well, being the manager. And let's get this happening. Yeah, I'm ready to fight. I've been wanting to fight for a very long time. Was supposed to fight in Vegas. That got called off for COVID. I was supposed to fight somewhere else that called off with COVID. You know, Christian Thun just recently. There was no flights in or out for me, so I couldn't go, again, due to COVID. So I would like to fight. It's been a very long time where I've sort of sat here and not fought anywhere near as much as I wanted to. And it's basically happened just before the world title. I didn't fight fights because I had the world title pending. I fought for the world title, all the drugs bullshit come out. I then didn't fight and haven't fought anywhere near enough as what I should have. So my boxing career has really taken a dent, so to speak, because of all that bullshit. So I just want to fight a couple more fights, have fun, retire happy, and be done with boxing. So let's get on to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, Dillian Whyte. Let's get this Alen Babic fight happening in the UK, and I'll be one step closer to retiring and being a happy fella. So enjoy. IFL very soon.
So Lucas Browne, very keen for this fight, and he can probably see some dollar signs, probably bigger and better than some of the other fights, the offers that he's been getting. Remembering he was due to face Christian Thun. Originally it was going to be in July, then pushed back to August, but Browne couldn't get different flights out of the country and the quarantining coming back in. That was a cost. Basically didn't want to pay it, couldn't get the logistics of everything all sort of sorted out, so it ended up getting called off. Don't know if that's going to be rescheduled, but Christian Thun, a 5-0 prospect, a much lower level profile fight for Browne compared to the likes of Alen Babic. But let's face it, do we want to see this? I mean, the ghost of Lucas Browne is going to get absolutely decimated in a round by Alen Babic. Browne, sure, he's got power. We know that's one of the last things to go for any heavyweight boxer. Even, someone like Browne in his 40s now will still carry some power. But we've already seen him get just obliterated a number of times now. And, getting decimated by Paul Gallen inside a round wasn't a good look. And what does this really do for Alen Babic? Browne is obviously completely washed at this point. A husk of a husk of a husk. And there's a bit of name value, but it's diminishing by the fight. There's not a lot that he can get out of this. And actually, Alen Babic is talking all sorts of game, but when is the level of opposition really going to step up to something that's going to test him? Because I think Mark Bennett, who fought Alen Babic last time, would beat Lucas Browne at this point. Browne is very chinny and clearly is just there for the taking. Sure, he used to be a belt holder in the WBA, but those days of having any form in the heavyweight division and having any resemblance of a chin, long gone. So he's going to, probably get taken out in a round devastatingly, and he could get hurt. I mean, I don't know if this fight should get made. It's one of these sort of situations. He's actually putting himself in harm's way because he is so washed now and probably will get hurt, will get rendered unconscious, separated from his senses. Don't like the fight. I don't think it does anything for Alen Babic, and I think they need to be a bit more aspirational with Babic's matchmaking, because this, in my view, would be poor. Details of Martin Bakole's next fight have been revealed. So he is going to be facing, you can see here from the promo graphic, Martin Bakole's put up on his social media, so Bakole versus Usumanu, and I'm not too familiar with this Osumanu, and I believe it is Haruna Osumanu. So you see here on screen, he's the world number 583. So a real heavy hitter and big name in the heavyweight division, 41 years old, probably similar to Browne. This is probably not going to end well with him, and it's half a star rating on BoxRec. So, I mean, he's lost to the likes of Ebenezer Tete, who you might remember got absolutely obliterated by Daniel Dubois. Also another prospect, Arslan Aliev, a few years back, beat him as well. So this is going to be on a card in the United Arab Emirates a couple of weeks' time. And just on this comment someone has left for him here on the post, kind of sums it up really. Mate, you could have fought Filip Hrgović for the IBF Eliminator, and now you're fighting this unknown. Lol, what had boxing came to, man. Not perfect, but you get the gist of what he's saying. And it's true. Terrible fight. So Bakole and his camp in that, a few months ago, Eddie Hearn basically said they turned down the Hrgović fight because they wanted to tune up before being willing to take it. And since then, because obviously a number of people were asking Billy Nelson, Martin Bakole's trainer, what's going on? You're always banging on about being avoided. No one gives you opportunity. You get the opportunity and you turn it down. He was very quiet for a while, but then sort of coming out a little bit of defense, sort of talking about visa issues to the UK. Well, that fight probably wouldn't have been in the United Kingdom against Hrgović, who's basically for the last couple of years been fighting in the United States. But I would also note as well, Bakole's had no trouble getting to the Ukraine to spar Alexander Usyk. You know, he's going to have seemingly no trouble getting to the United Arab Emirates. Surely there could have come to potentially some other sort of option for a camp for the Hrgović fight. So I'm not buying all what they're trying to sell us in terms of, oh, well, you know, he was stuck in the Congo, couldn't get a visa. Obviously, he's traveling for different things like the Usyk camp and this fight here. So where there's a will, there's a way. So this is a terrible fight, dreadful. I believe there's a couple of decent fights on that card, so it might be worth watching. I think that might be the one with the that strongman on it, but I'll have to check it out a little further. But it's on something called coresports.world. Anyway, it's late in the day, so I'll wrap it up. Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.